This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody and tell them to turn into the value of wrestling, because we're here with your SmackDown review for December 15th, 2023. It's a three-man panel. We're going to do this in a three-way dance right here for you tonight on the Value Wrestling YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Make sure you join in the chat. Make sure you like this video. Make your choice in the poll listed above. How do you rate SmackDown for today, December 15th, 2023? And of course, I'm here with our colleagues. Let's get to it. You know this man, the one, the only
Paulus Clarke.
Oh, believe that. Believe that. Ladies and gentlemen, let that go there. And give me 1 second here with no, not that. I need this other one. I need to go here because that one's. We are going to do a little updating here to the system because it's not as pretty as I like it. We're going to do that. And now we will introduce the other man joining us for the night. The one, the only.
Big Elsie.
Oh, yes, you know. You know. We are going to do that right there. Welcome, gentlemen. Of course, you know me. I'm the one. I'm the only. I'm the big time. We're in the house. We're breaking this down. Welcome to the party. Welcome, everybody here. Make sure you join in the chat. Join in the discussion as we break down SmackDown for you tonight. Gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight? Mr. Clarke.
Doing all right. I mean, another Friday night.
Another Friday night where wrestling was running rampant as we had SmackDown, Rampage, and Ring of Honor Final Battle going on across the board. Yeah. So we are here for SmackDown. Mr. Z, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm as good as I'm going to get. It was just a long night. Lots of wrestling.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think everything looks good. If you can hear us, give us a thumbs up. And we're going to jump right into the SmackDown. Open with the return of the Tribal Chief. The Tribal Chief is here. The Tribal Chief makes his way down to why. Okay. Yeah, we have the Tribal Chief, and he's here, and he's out. Yeah, I'm trying to find where can we really get. Okay, we're live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're across the street from Lambeau Field. Roman Reigns has been champion for 1,202 days, and he is out here to talk about promotions. We're talking about the next in line for the Tribal Chiefness, the Tribal Chiefian, whatever you want to call it. And we are here, and Roman asked Jimmy to step forward so they can celebrate as they look at the next Tribal Chief, the next head of the table, in one Solo Sikoa. Jimmy's not too happy about that. And in the end, Randy Orton comes out. Randy enters the ring. He has a mic. He says he's been waiting 18 months. Him and Roman have a stare down. He talks about how he wants Roman. He's going to get Roman. Roman says, you haven't been around for 18 months. What makes you think you deserve a title shot? You need to get to the back of the line. And so we have a basic promo. Probably not one of the best promos. That is between these two, really, with a tribal with Roman Reigns returning after 5 weeks of being gone, and Randy Orton returning for 18 months. To have these two in the ring, it was kind of a mediocrely promo. There we go. I got the words. It just wasn't what I would expect from the two of them. It got it started. Randy Orton tried to RKO Roman, but Roman backed out of it real quick. He didn't. I would have thought he would have hit Solo or Jimmy with a RKO then, but no, he just kind of left the ring. It was a decent promo. It wasn't the worst promo, but it just wasn't as impactful as you would think from these two guys coming face to face for the first time after 18 months. You would think that this would have been a little more in depth. It just didn't seem there. And I'm sure we're going to get Randy and Roman at Royal Rumble. That's the path we're on. That's the path we're going to get. Mr. Clarke, what did you think of this opening promo segment?
I mean, it was all right, but the problem was the beats were very predictable. Like when he's talking about, he was actually hyping Roman up, saying, you have evolved, you have changed, you
Yeah.
are a legend. But the one thing that will always be is I am a legend killer. I'm like, we saw that 5 miles away. Come on, dude.
Mr. Z, your
Like-
thoughts on this? Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Did you have something else to
I
add?
was just to add to the tail end, just saying that it continued. Like you see the thread of the storyline where they're going to go, but it just, like you said earlier, it really wasn't as impactful as we thought it would have been.
No. Mr. Z, your thoughts?
It was a promo. I mean, they did the best they can to try to hype you up for the potential of Roman and Randy. And honestly, you've seen the RKO coming a mile away. It just, yeah. I could have done better.
Yes. Well, I don't know if they did their best to get me hyped up for their match. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with that. I don't think either of them really brought the best out in this segment. I know WWE is switching to that more free promo style. Randy seems more adapt to it. Roman kind of, I don't know, Roman hits and misses on his promos when he's out there by himself, it seems like. I think Paul Heyman probably should have done a little more talking in this to get this hype going. But, it is what it is.
Word.
And we'll have to live with
the
what
ultimate
it
hype
is.
man. Why not?
So tonight we know Randy Orton's going to take on Jimmy Uso in the main event. We have Grayson Waller versus Carmelo Hayes for the U.S. title tournament. And then we have Kevin Owens taking on A-Town Down and Austin Theory. So
one half of Team Young Boys.
What you call them. So we're going to get Carmelo Hayes for his first time on the main roster. And Grayson Waller heads out to the ring. And what's up with today's, cutting the commercials when somebody's coming down to the ring? They cut when Randy Orton was coming down to the ring to a commercial, and then they cut Grayson Waller kind of out when he was coming down the ring. It was really weird. Post-break, we get Carmelo Hayes' entrance. He didn't really get too much of a pop. It didn't seem like the WWE universe that was there tonight knew who Carmelo Hayes is, which is telling you a lot of the people who are coming up for the main show are not necessarily watching NXT. So Triple H is going to have to look into that, to how he's going to get these guys some appeal. They did get a promo. Well, no, they didn't do the promo here. They did do a promo later for Carmelo Hayes, which was good, but they missed the shot here because they didn't really get the fans in attendance hyped. Anyways, it's Carmelo Hayes versus Grayson Waller. These two have a decent match. I think these two have crossed paths in NXT, but they have a good match here. Hayes counters with a code breaker and then nothing but net and a 3 count. Carmelo Hayes won. This match went 10 minutes, 23 seconds. It was a decent match. It felt more like a NXT match, so it's hard to say if you can quantify it as a good main roster match, but it was decent for what it was. A solid showing here. I think a lot of people were shocked to see Carmelo Hayes win here. Everybody figuring that Austin Theory and Kevin Owens would go, and then, you'd have Grayson Waller as the next subject. But no, we're going to get Carmelo Hayes moving on in this tournament a little bit. Can't wait to see what they're going to do here. Mr. Z, your thoughts on Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller?
I'm like you. I do have an issue with commercial breaks and entrances. Makes no sense. It's almost like the AEW-esque kind of thing going on there. But Carmelo
they
looked
don't.
good. I mean,
AEW doesn't go to commercial. They just go to picture in picture, which is even worse in my eyes nowadays. It's just so overdone. It used to be cool because it was done every once in a while, but AEW does it every time, and you kind of lose track of the match because you got this thing over here yelling at you, and you're trying to be like, eh? Go ahead. Continue.
Other than that, Carmelo Hayes looked good. I don't think he's quite ready for main roster yet. I mean, they're not doing much to build him up. Like you said, they did the promo and it was already too late. They could have done something a little bit better for him.
Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on Carmelo Hayes versus Grayson Waller?
Nice little showcase, which is, I think, the whole point for having Carmelo Hayes up in this match to begin with.
Yeah.
But, as also... hold on. Echo, stop. Yeah. Anyways, lost my train of thought. Sorry. Carmelo gets the win, so let's see what the next match does for him. If they continue with the showcase, or if they're just gonna have throw him under the bus. But, like I said off air, I don't expect him to win this tournament, but giving him a nice showcase could still be helpful in the long run of his career.
From there, we're in the back. Randy walks and finds LA Knight. Knight offers to help him because we all know how the numbers work in the bloodline. Randy says he doesn't need Knight's. They're good, but he doesn't need Knight's help. Knight says he's taking everything from Roman and can either benefit Randy or hurt him. Back in the ring, we got Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is taking on Austin Theory. We get a break post-cap. Owens confronting Logan Paul a couple weeks back. We get a little vignette during the match from Logan Paul talking about Kevin Owens. After that, Austin Theory comes out to fake boo-boos that fade almost immediately because, I don't know what they were going on there. But anyway, so we got the second match in the U.S. title tournament match here. Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. You got a good solid match here. Austin Theory came out in trunks that had his name on the back and the old school SmackDown logo. So that was very cool throwback there if you didn't notice, but it was set up like the original, you go back to the original SmackDown game and everything. But yeah, the original SmackDown logo, he was kind of copying there on his trunks. A good solid match back and forth. Kevin Owens had his hand broken by Theory and Grayson, so he was in a cast. So Theory was trying to work on that broken hand, quote unquote. Eventually, Owens hits Theory with the cast and then goes for the pin, and Owens kind of looks surprised that the cast helped him win and I can use this. A very interesting comedic moment with Kevin Owens using the cast fist to get a win. So, you can't blame him. It was good. It worked for what it was. Kevin Owens, of course, moving on, which we all know that Kevin Owens was going to win this match. Kevin Owens is probably going to win this whole tournament since they already have so much building between him and Logan Paul. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory, A-Town down.
I like the fact that they wound up using the cast, and it wasn't done in a heel way. It was really accidental on Kevin Owens' part. But Austin Theory has that, little scapegoatness where it's, hey, you didn't beat me. You had to hit me with a foreign object, a.k.a. your cast.
Yeah.
So it's like they can circle back and run with it some more if they so choose to. Because, they paired them together, at least, in vignettes, matches here and there. So I like the fact that they can kind of continue with a logical explanation and not just some BS explanation.
Yes. Mr. Z, your thoughts on Austin Theory versus Kevin Owens?
You got to go with the cast. It's like you said, it was completely accidental. It's not like he did the old Cowboy Bob and blatantly hit him with it.
Right.
So I dig the outcome of it. It feeds into later on down the road for these two. They mesh well together, so it's very enjoyable.
Yeah. No, the cast was great. They didn't use it with intent, but by accident. And then Owens' expression after he did it was kind of like, oh, wait a minute. So he kind of had flashbacks. He had a moment there, like, oh, yeah. Anyways, we're in the back where Roman is brooding, and he's talking about Randy ruining Solo's moment, and somebody needs to take and shut Randy up. Jimmy says, well, it sounds like a great job for the tribal heir, or the heir to the throne. And Roman's like, no, Jimmy, this is your chance to go out and, get your promotion, or, who knows what can happen to you. And then Jimmy smiles like a dummy, like this says, and then goes, yeet. And Roman just looks at him. And of course, I'm sure
he knew he messed up.
And I'm sure Mr. Clarke and Roman had the same look on their face when Jimmy went, yeet, because Mr. Clarke is the yeet man of the year. We're going to make him the yeet. We're going to get him the Yeet Award so he can be the Yeet Man of the year. That's what we'll do at the end of the year. We're going to proclaim you.
We'll get him a shirt.
Yes. Mr. Yeet of the year. The Yeeter of the year. And then you can go eat. You can be the Yeeter of worlds, Then you can really have a play.
Oh, my God. What a play on words. Wow.
And then you can yeet on that pony. Oh, okay. He's back. You can be the eater. Anyway, so yes, Roman was not too happy with it, and that is what we got from that. Post break, we see members of the Green Bay Packers with the Green Bay title. And then we get an amazing video package of Karrion Kross about how everything's going to be recycled. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Karrion Kross here. They gave him a great video package about recycling everything. Scarlett was mixed in there. He seemed threatening. The only hard part is we all know where he's been. And so it's kind of hard to take him seriously with this video package, but I'm really hoping this video package is what we've been hearing about, that Karrion Kross is finally going to get this push. Hopefully we get something different from this Karrion Kross that makes us believe in Karrion Kross again, because I think he can be great. I think you have a world champion in Karrion Kross. It's just getting him there, and there was a lot of damage done with Vince, and then he's kind of hasn't had that opportunity with Triple H to get the creative to get him to the push. But with this video package, I'm kind of excited. I'm not going to hold my breath because it scares me a little bit, because we've seen a path here, but I'm hoping that this is finally the time we're going to see Karrion Kross get his push. Mr. Z, what did you think of this video package for Mr. Karrion Kross?
It made a lot of sense. It brought a lot of, kind of like his, getting him back to his roots, so to speak, from NXT, trying to make him into a big threat again. I mean, like you said, I'm not going to hold my breath. Vince killed him. I just don't know where you can rebuild with him.
Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
So what you're saying is, this video package just might make Karrion Kross great again.
Yes. They can make Karrion Kross great again, and Mr. Clarke, you can make yeeting great again. You could be the great yeeter.
What are you gonna start calling me? The great Yeeta?
Oh yeah, you could be the great yeeter.
Oh, why is it my dumb ideas you run with?
At least you're not like the Satam Yeti, the Yeti, or you could, instead of being the Yeti, you could be the Eater.
Eat your Yeeties. Anyways, let's see what they do with Kross. Because I'm kind of like you, where it's like they start and they stop, they start and they stop. You're right. He hasn't been able to be under Triple H's guidance for a while, so we'll see what happens.
And hopefully Karrion Kross doesn't leave to go to AEW, because I think it would even be worse for him.
Oh Lord.
He could take that gladiator mask with him.
Oh God.
No, that's a historical factor. That might give Ric Flair nightmares. Can't do that. Anyways, we're in the back with Kevin Owens and some guy named Cameron Grimes, who's congratulating him. Yes, Cameron Grimes, some guy. Well, what has Cameron Grimes done since the $1 million title? He was up here, and then he went, hello, Kevin Grimes? Are you out here? Hello? Anybody know where Cameron Grimes went? I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, he did beat Baron Corbin in a few seconds on the main roster.
You could beat Baron Corbin if we wanted it that way. I mean, who cares? I mean, my cat could have beat Happy Corbin, so I mean, anybody can beat Baron Corbin at that point. Anyways, Cameron Grimes, congratulations. Michaela's here for a little further down the hallway, and she asked Owens about Hayes next week. He showed up about 10 years ago and faced Cena, and here comes Hayes. Hayes walks up, gives him a moment, and talks about little brother and little brother in him. So we set up for Carmelo Hayes versus Kevin Owens next week. We get an update on Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair will be out for up to 9 months at this point with her knee injury. So she'll be back in 9 months. Will she be back with Andrade? Will Andrade be in WWE in 9 months? We'll have to wait and see. Then we got a good but weird promo package from Damage Control, where Bayley's sitting here going, this was all my plan to be a dominant faction and da-da-da-da-da. And this is what we're going to do. And the Kabuki Warriors are going to go for the women's tag team titles, which cool. That's great. Then she calls Dakota Kai a mastermind. And I'm kind of like, wow, let's talk about like opening the curtain. Yeah, open the curtain and do the foreshadowing here. It was weird, especially when all the other girls were laughing. And you're like, are they laughing because they're supposed to laugh? Or are they all laughing at Bayley and her dumb I don't know. The only good thing I'm seeing the heel. Oh, of course, Bayley goes on to talk about how she's going to win the Royal Rumble, and then she's going to go beat Rhea Ripley for the women's world title, which I kind of don't see. I can't look at Bayley right now and go, "Oh yeah, you could beat Rhea Ripley." Yeah, I don't see that happening. Not without the rest of Damage Control. But this video package is kind of weird. It was good in ways. The way they did it, and we're trying to get it over. It was good, but Bayley being the leader and sitter of this, it just, it's coming, and it just kind of makes it weird. The only thing I can hope is that we get Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, as the women's tag team champions, maybe at WrestleMania, and they can face Bayley and her mystery partner, since we know that when Mercedes Moné's working agreement with AEW is collapsed and does not seem to going to be happening. Sasha Banks back to WWE could very well be in the works, especially with Triple H at the helm. I mean, Triple H was key in making the Four Horsewomen important in NXT. So, I mean, why wouldn't Sasha want to come back where somebody's going to make her feel important? Mr. Clarke, I know you're a big Bayley fan. What did you think of this video package for Damage Control? I mean, I know Bayley's your girl, but I don't know. There was good things and there was just weird things to it for me.
Right. This promo. The promo itself was fine, but the way it was shot felt very B-movie, overacted, I
kind of like the way it was shot in bits and pieces. It was just kind of where Bayley fell into it. It just
exactly.
It didn't seem real from Bayley's point.
We know where the story is going. Yeah. Exactly. And that's what I mean by B-movie. Because you know where this story is going. It feels very forced. It feels very like she's trying to stay in her delusion of being the leader of Damage Control.
Yeah.
You can already see stuff is shifting. How do you not see this, Bayley? Come on.
Yeah,
it was just. Yourself.
I like the look of it and the way they were doing things and the way they shot it. There was a lot of great things in it, in the visual aspect of it, I should say, more than the verbiage. The verbiage was kind of. I get what they were doing. They had it on track, but Bayley's constantly saying, "Oh, I," and I'm just like going, "Oh boy, this is not going to go the right way." And then when she called Dakota Kai a mastermind at the end, I'm just like, yeah, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak here.
Yep.
So, Mr. Z, what did you think of this video package?
I was like, could Bayley bury herself any further in a grave at that point? Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, because she was just going, and I'm like, all right, you can totally see on their face that this isn't working anymore. And like you said, when she called Dakota Kai the mastermind, you're like, yeah, this is done. My question is when are they going to miss her and kick her out?
I'm assuming Bayley might win the Royal Rumble. I won't doubt that maybe she wins the Royal Rumble. I don't know. It'll depend. They might miss her in the Rumble to eliminate her. So I don't know who in this group may win. I don't know. You have Asuka, Kairi, Io. Io's a women's champion. They're going to go for the tag title. So unless Dakota Kai gets back from injury, I don't know. Unless you're going to have Becky win the Rumble again and go against Rhea, which just seems bad. It just seems like, I don't know. This is going to be very interesting now because it seems like there may be a shift. And if there's a shift where we're seeing Asuka and Kairi Sane going for the women's tag team champions, we may see Bayley teaming up with Sasha if WWE is looking at that. And that may be why we're starting to see kind of a interesting dynamic of them pushing them for the women's tag titles. Because for a while there, I would have said Bayley was going to win and go against Io Sky at WrestleMania. But I don't know now. There may be a shift here coming. We may see
here's
Becky.
My question then.
Go ahead.
Who steps up to Rhea? Because at this point, they have her way too dominant, and I don't see anyone stepping up.
That's where I would go. They might have Becky win the Rumble again because I don't. Yeah, Becky might win the Rumble, and Becky would be the challenging Rhea. Really, that's about it for Rhea. Rhea and Becky Lynch is about. Rhea's ran through everybody else on the other side, so it is at this point that I would think you might see Rhea needs to beat Becky. The only other thing is some weird swerve song where they get Bianca Belair in there with Ripley, which I don't want, but they might do it.
I was going to say something about that just to mess with you, but you went ahead and put it out there.
Well, I'm just looking at all the possibilities. I mean, could they bring somebody over from SmackDown, win the Rumble, and then put them over there? But I think Bianca won the Women's Rumble last year, so I don't think we're going to see a repeat there in the women's as much. So I don't know. You may, I mean, if Alexa Bliss is coming back and they get her back at Rumble, they may do something with her winning it all. Of course, Sasha Banks might come back to the Rumble and win it all and really throw a kink in Bayley's pants. And then she'll be mad at Sasha trying to take her down. And then, when they turn on her, she's going to need Sasha to help her out. I don't know. There's not. They could bring a woman up from NXT. So there's a couple possibilities there, but I think Rhea's big challenge has got to be Becky. They could do Bianca Belair. Io really could dance with anybody, just depending on what they want to do. So a lot of things are going to be going forward. Is where is Sasha Banks coming when she comes back to wrestling next year? It definitely seems like they've had a fall out with AEW. Which probably the smart thing. If I was Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever we want to call her, I'd be running away from AEW very quickly, including Okada and Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre and anybody else that's and a Tonga. He needs to make sure he goes and that if his contract's up at the right time, he may show up at WrestleMania to help out Roman, or he may show up to get the other guys away. It may take a bloodline member to finally get the rest of the members away from Roman. The only other aspect that I can see is we may be having a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania on night 2. Roman Cody running it back, you are going to have to escalate it from a normal wrestling match to a little something more. And I would think a Hell in a Cell would keep everybody out. But again, it's the bloodline. Anything could happen. So it could get really interesting. So...
speaking on, you're talking about bloodline members. You brought up Tama Tonga being one of those guys that's going to be leaving when his contract's up. I don't know if you got my message today off air.
That's AEW, and this is WWE, so we're not even going to give them their time here.
No, but you know where I'm going with this.
I know. We'll save that. We'll save that for Sunday. If they want to know, they can come back Sunday and we can discuss who was at AEW Dynamite getting a dose of what their future could be like. But we'll focus on SmackDown before we bring any other Bloodline members into it. Anyways, we got the Kabuki Warriors. They were coming down the ringside, and you got to love the way Asuka and Kairi Sane just, That entrance was great. And then before they could get to the ring, Michin and Zelina Vega came down and tagged them from behind, and we got the match started off. Got a great match here. Pretty decent match for the women's match, for a women's tag match. Definitely a good match. I enjoyed it. In the end, Kairi Sane hits the insane elbow on Michin. And the Kabuki Warriors get their win, and they're on their way to get the women's tag team titles. So it'll be interesting if we're going to see the Kabuki Warriors against the Karen Warriors, as we will call them, of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So, yep. Good solid match here. I was happy to see the Kabuki Warriors out here. You don't home match help in a Zelina Vega Michin matchup here. It's interesting. I don't know where Michin goes going forward at this point. After how the show ended tonight, I don't know what we're going to do with Michin. And Zelina Vega not representing the LWO tonight, so I don't know where she's going. But, it's two names. The Kabuki Warriors are probably going to start their run through the women's division to get to Chelsea Green and Piper Niven for the women's tag team titles. Maybe that'll be a Rumble match. Maybe we'll see that sooner. Mr. Z, your thoughts on this women's match?
Holy smokes, a women's match that was booked perfectly tonight? I'm just saying. I enjoyed it. I'll just leave it at that.
Mr. Clarke.
I expected the Kabuki Warriors to go over tonight, but watching Zelina Vega, it made me want to go watch her old TNA stuff as Rosita to see how she used to wrestle and compare it to where she is now.
Yeah. Well, she is getting featured a whole lot better in a prominent spot. And she's a very beautiful woman, and we'll say that with all due respect because I don't need no Tommy End kicking my head off. I don't need no black mass. But
I like my head where it's at. It's okay.
Exactly. But she's getting featured a lot more, and she's looking better than she has in a long time. Zelina Vega, very, very impressed by. Anyways, now we're backstage with Jimmy talking to Solo. He's asking if he's getting set up, and Solo just kind of tells him, "I'm your brother." I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's reassurance. I don't know if Jimmy felt reassured. But yeah. Anyways, we get a post.
They made it sound like Jimmy was reassured, but it's like, okay, just look at the history. They've attacked each other before. It's kind of like,
well, we all know at some time the bloodline has to kind of crack for this whole group to fall apart, for Roman to be alone. How it's going to happen, I don't necessarily know.
like
but
it hasn't cracked before.
Well, with Jimmy and Solo are still there, and we know Solo is still a strong side, and now he's the heir to the throne. So when does that line finally get crossed? And that might be after Roman loses the title now, because if they do something with Cody and they do like a Hell in a Cell, which makes a whole lot of sense about where we're heading, I just feel that we're not just going to get Cody versus Roman in a normal match this time, because it's just like you have to take it somewhere, and I think putting Roman in a Hell in a Cell against Cody may be the key to finally dethroning Roman in a way that will make sense where the bloodline can't get in. Now, the bloodline still may get in. Cody might pull out buddies and friends. Who knows? We may have a surprise guest.
It won't be one Simone Spike to end it all?
No. We're not going to get the same story again. That's for sure. Anyways, maybe MJF shows up at WrestleMania. He was seen outside shaking hands with John Cena and everybody at the red carpet for Iron Claw. So I don't know why everybody got so hyped up about that. I'm just like, it's a movie. It's a wrestling movie. There are going to be WWE guys there. There are going to be AEW guys there. Yeah. It's happening. MJF's in the movie.
Oh, bro, that had everybody talking.
As a Von Erich who wasn't really a Von Erich. He played the I forgot what the name. He played one of the Von Erichs, but who wasn't really a Von Erich. He was just another guy that looked like a Von Erich that they bought into the Von Erichs. So I can't wait to go see that movie. It looks interesting. Thank God it's only 2 hours.
I was asking about that.
There's some the moon, the killing of the moonflower. I don't know. It's about the Osage Indians in Oklahoma, where I'm originally from, and it's got Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio, and it looks like a really good story about the Indians. The Osage Indians found oil on their land and got really rich, and then people tried to, this movie's 3 hours and 26 minutes. I'm just like, damn. It looks like a really good movie, but I'm like, damn, I don't know if I can sit for 3 hours and 26 minutes. There's a lot of history in it, so it'll be interesting.
Talk to me off air, and I got something for you.
All right. From there we got a post break. We got a video package with Santos Escobar hyping up his match against Bobby Lashley next week. Then we got Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits. It was done really good. The Street Profits kind of hopped up Bobby Lashley. They felt like a cohesive group for once. So I was happy to kind of see that. Santos, you're kind of like, is Santos really going to beat Bobby? I don't know. We'll have to see. But we know they're all coming for Logan. Logan kind of ran everybody down. And then we got this great match. Dragon Lee will defend the NXT North American title against Butch this coming NXT. And there's going to be an 8-woman tag next week as Bianca Belair and friends, which is Michin, Selena Vega, and Shotzi against Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. Damage Control minus Dakota Kai. So that's what we're going to get next week here. But we know that Dragon Lee will defend the North American title against Butch on NXT next week. So I'm really excited to hear about that. Randy Orton heads to the ring for our main event, and Jimmy Uso follows, and no one is with him. And we get a decent match between these two. Eventually, Solo comes out to disrupt things, and he's starting to waddle down when he gets attacked by LA Knight, who gets a big pop for the attacking him. Jimmy then gets distracted and turns around and hits Randy hits an RKO at 14 minutes, 24 seconds. It's a decent match between these two. Randy getting the win, which Randy's going to go through everybody in Bloodline to get to Roman. And before we get into the rest of that, Mr. Clarke, tell me what you thought about the match between Randy Orton and Jimmy Uso.
The match between Randy Orton and Jannetty Uso. You knew exactly what was going to happen. I mean, nice little, entertaining match, but Randy, you knew was going on top. There's no way the star of Randy Orton's caliber was going to lose to Jimmy Uso at this point in time. Now, if they wanted to stop making Jimmy Uso a comedy character and start doing something similar to what they do with Jay, maybe there's potential. But we haven't seen that, so there was just no.
So you're saying Jimmy is the Ralphus of the group?
No, I said he was the Jannetty of the group.
I don't know how you get the Ralphus. But okay. Mr. Z, your thoughts on the match?
It was booked just how it needed to be. Randy Orton needs to look strong going through this, getting in the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to run through the bloodline. By all means, let it happen, and we'll see what goes from there.
So post-match is probably the big storyline of the night, and somewhat of a head shaker, but maybe interesting. Anyways, Knight says he knew what was coming. He came down, telling Randy he knew it was coming, and then Roman jumps Knight from behind. Roman gets in the ring, ties it up with Randy. They throw punches at one another before Randy gets Roman in the corner before Jimmy comes and attacks Randy from behind. Jimmy stomping on Randy while Roman is holding him in the guillotine in the corner. Knight finally recovers and comes in and attacks Jimmy and Roman. But here's Solo Sikoa, so we got a 3-on-2. And then out of nowhere, AJ Styles music starts blaring across the arena. This video packaged up on the screen. Eventually we get it behind the bloodline. AJ Styles setting up for a phenomenal forearm, which he hits. And they chased AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and LA Knight chase the bloodline out of the ring. They're all celebrating. Suddenly, AJ steps up, pulls LA Knight, turns him, and nails LA Knight with a vicious clothesline. Randy kind of stares down at AJ like, are you attacking us both or what? And then when he realizes AJ's beef was only with LA Knight, Randy just kind of shrugs his shoulders, and AJ walks out of the arena past the bloodline, the very bloodline he just helped attack. They don't do anything as AJ walks by. AJ walks by. And yeah, I think you're very interestedly confused by this whole scenario. It's the best way I can put it, because it was kind of, he attacked the bloodline, which we know AJ has his feud with the bloodline's what put AJ on the shelf. But AJ, I don't know what I'm missing with AJ randomly attacking LA Knight or why. Or out of all this, all of a sudden, it was very weirdly interesting. It was definitely a good way to do something that's a good swerve to make everybody go, what? So yes, you're going to be tuning in next week because you've got to figure out what happened. And this is where Tony Khan needs to take a chapter out of the book. And this is how you get people to come back and watch your show next week by making people go, do what? AJ looked like he's been working out. I mean, AJ looked huge. I mean, this is
my
big
wife
AJ.
pointed it out. She was like, that was not a dad bod at all. She goes, he looked solid.
AJ looked like he was ready to come back in action. And AJ kind of feels late TNA era when the Bullet Club, just before he left, or not the Bullet Club, the Aces and Eights, he ended his TNA era with all the black on, kind of his New Japan run. He kind of had that Eskic feel, but he's been working out. That's AJ swole. I mean, AJ looked like he beefed up a bit there. Mr. Z, your thoughts on how the show closed out?
I'm, like you said, awkwardly confused, just for the simple fact that we were like, okay, this was going to happen, and then he turns around and hits LA Knight. I was like, why? What's the point? But the bloodline didn't attack him when he left, so I'm kind of wondering.
The bloodline looked shocked too, so I don't know. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on how this show ended?
I'm happy that you also made the same connection that I did, that AJ looked more like his Man in Black towards the end of TNA run.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little niff. I'm like, he got to it before I could say it, damn it. But I'm glad that you made the same connection that I did on that one. And so we see where it goes. Yeah. Now, on top of the fact that in WWE, there's no connection between LA Knight and AJ Styles. But I wonder if they're going to run some kind of story taking something from TNA without actually calling it TNA, but just saying, they have history and, maybe build something fresh now with it.
Well, maybe WWE will work with TNA in some way or form.
We know their parent company will.
There's a lot of talks going around that Triple H is working his tail off to bring back Insanity so he can do Insanity the way he wanted it to.
Please
So
do. Please
we're
do.
talking. He's already got Nikki Cross. Of course, she's married to Killian Dane, so that's not hard to possibly get Dane back. Alexander Wolf was in there, so that could be an interesting aspect. I don't know where he is. We know Eric Young's with Impact TNA right now. We know Eric Young left Impact TNA to go back to WWE, signed the contract, never got used, and then I guess asked for his release when Vince McMahon came back.
Yep. That's
And it got released.
That's what the reports.
And got released. Now Triple H is back in charge, so I don't know if we could see Eric Young, if Triple H is working for that. Could be very interesting if we get to see Eric Young back in WWE, see Insanity actually happen. I mean, they're trying to do something with Nikki Cross little by little. We haven't seen too much of it in the last couple weeks, I think, except in the back.
Right.
So we'll have to wait and see. Now, AJ turning... And I heard a lot of news and rumors. There was supposed to be Alberto and Hector Garza, who look way different. A picture they showed from a house show. These both guys look a little more chiseled, but both like they don't look like their hair's both shorter in style, and they look more of a heel team than the babyface style of them. If you look at these pictures that came from a live event, they definitely look like a heel tandem. They feel more real. And then the baby face, or the goofy Angel Garza heel that we had gotten, and the super over babyface Humberto Carrillo. And then when they became a tag team, which you didn't know if they were really heel or babyface or what they were, because they just seemed odd together. The picture I saw of them, they look like I could see them teaming up with Santos Escobar now. So there's a lot of rumors that they were in Green Bay tonight. They may not have been used, but they may be getting ready to be added into that. So we'll have to see. I mean, you got Bobby Lashley versus Santos. You may have the Street Profits there with Bobby Lashley, because this is an AEW where we go, you can't bring anybody down to help you or not interfere. So maybe Santos is building up two guys to join him, but they looked really good. Also, it was reported the OC were in the backstage area, and with AJ Styles being back, and hopefully maybe they'll give us the real club and a heel run here that's going to mean something or has something to do, just as long as we don't get the Luke Gallows that we got in AEW. I mean, that was horrible. The Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson that we got in AEW. I don't know if they were trying to be
get the machine gun.
I don't know if they were trying to be the D-Generation X at AEW for their time there, because it was just over the top. So we'll have to see, but I thought AJ Styles looked fabulous. He definitely seems he was all dressed in black, so you felt like that AJ leaving TNA, Aces and Eights era, and when he came into New Japan Pro Wrestling, this is the look that AJ had. So I'm really interested to see what we're going to get from AJ.
He was missing a Bullet Club bandana around his face, honestly.
It'd be very interesting to see if they put him with the club and maybe they build the club out, bring kind of a NWS club feel to this group. It'd be really nice to see them do something, maybe add some younger talent around them into a group that could be a club that's here to dominate and do something. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Overall, the show was kind of just basically your average show. I don't think it was really good. It wasn't just boring, but it just was kind of average or kind of in a lull. We're moving some stories forward. I think they missed totally on the Randy Orton Roman Reigns bit. It just, you hadn't had these two guys in the ring in 18 months, and I just thought you would bring more something to it in some form or another. It just didn't feel, I felt like it missed that and Randy just kind of walking out of the ring, you're just kind of like, we didn't get an RKO on anybody. We didn't get, it just, it fell flat for me. Mr. Clarke.
Daddy's back fell flat.
Yeah,
that really did.
I think it was funny with Rhea Ripley, but the continuing use of it, again, it's one of those things, you can have a good joke and you could run it in the ground real quickly if not used right. And with Rhea Ripley, it made sense since she's mommy, I'm daddy. Daddy being back to Roman just kind of makes you go, oh, that's a little weird. But Mr. Clarke, what are your what are your thoughts on the show as a whole?
Before we go on the show as a whole, I just wanted to quickly mention that Humberto and Angel Garza have been putting that work in NXT to rebuild themselves to to look better. So
They look
if you're
good.
seeing this picture from a house show, like you can tell they've been putting the work in.
Yeah, they look badass. They
And
look
it's not
like
like
a threat.
they haven't been like heavily featured on NXT, but enough like oh yeah, you remember these guys. Oh, so yeah. Tonight's show, I agree with you. It was average. It's continuing some storylines, and others were just kind of in the holding pattern, which is kind of this is what happens during these months. This month, like we're not quite ready to really super go towards the Royal Rumble / Road to WrestleMania, but we have to give the audience something. So that's kind of what they're doing. That's their state of mind.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Z, your overall thoughts on tonight's show?
Just I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Good show overall. Like,
get that train back on the tracks.
It's on there, brother. This Friday night's new to me again, bro. It's a good. It was good show overall, but I was thinking maybe Triple H is doing what I've been saying for weeks now. He's kind of just ghosting the rest of the year out, and then start right out of the gate with Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of building his own era of WWE in his image, since it's his time now.
It is definitely his time. It is definitely his time, and I can't wait to see what we're going to get out of it. Lots of stuff building forward, lots of stuff getting interesting. The Royal Rumble, really an open door. I will still put my money on CM Punk to win it, but you could have Cody win it, you could have Gunther win it, you could have LA Knight win it, you could have Randy in it. Not necessarily that Randy should win it. I'm just saying there's a lot of names this year that we're looking at and go, that could happen.
Hell, now with AJ Styles back, you can reinvigorate his career if they really wanted to.
No, but I mean, the last few years, my big thing.
Real quick, can we get a proper match of him and Shinsuke this time? Not Vince McMahon.
Well, I mean,
it all over it.
If we have a heel AJ and a heel Nakamura, I don't know if we'll get that right now, but maybe down the line we will have to wait and see. But a lot of it's going to be interesting how we see what's going forward from there. But yeah, this year is definitely a year in the Rumble where there's a lot of names that we can say could possibly win this. Where in the past few years we've complained that it was pretty predictable who was going to win. We knew Cody was hands down going to win last year. I forgot who won it the year before, but it always seems like the last several years we just kind of knew who was going to win that match, and there wasn't too much unpredictability. And this year we're kind of going, well, here's somebody. So it can get really
options.
And yes,
I'd love to see how far Gunther gets into this Rumble. Honestly, just him getting in there, just chopping the hell out of everybody. I mean, jeez.
Again, I think you do Cody Gunther at number 1 and number 2. I think you take the last 2 men that were in the Rumble last year and let them start this Rumble off. I think the deal is you want Cody to go. I believe Cody has to be in there at number 1 or number 2. Period. Whoever you put across him, whoever. It's fine, but I think Cody is your guy to go number 1 because this is going to build in that story. Now, he's not coming out later. He's not coming out number, 30 last year, right? He's coming in at number 1. Now he's got to go through the whole Rumble and try to hold on to get this shot to make his story, to finish his story. And so, I mean, that definitely is where I think he should be. And I think you open it with Gunther because I think Gunther's earned that spot. I think Gunther and him closing out that Rumble last year, that this is going to be something really good. And I think that's where you open it. I think you drop Punk in at number
mid-20s.
Number 3. Mid-20s. No, you got to have Punk in there.
Okay.
I think you put Punk in there a lot earlier just because we haven't seen Punk wrestle. Can he make it? And this is where Punk's showing to have to show that he's survived and earned it. If you put Punk in there late and let him win, I think it just kind of like you lose a little bit. I mean, Punk should always have his yay, but you might
Where
be.
Do you throw Randy in at? Wait, never mind.
Randy's fighting.
Match, never mind.
Yeah, Randy's fighting.
Right. That's right.
Randy's going to be fighting Roman, I think. So I know I said Randy.
I have not been this excited in forever, dude. this is wrestling is it where we're at with wrestling right now. It's an exciting time.
Hold
we
on.
don't know what's going to happen.
Where we are with WWE is an exciting time. Now, you cannot tell me there's anything. Or you're saying wrestling, and I'm looking at AEW, and AEW is hurting right now.
Okay.
So,
not going there. As far as we have with WWE, and then the potential of what Impact, formerly known as Impact, going back to TNA, what they're going to be doing. I'm excited. On my case, guys, New Japan, I'm looking forward to Wrestle Kingdom and seeing how they kick the year off. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting for me. But AEW, someone please grab that boy by the scruff and tell him how to run this thing.
No, it's going to get real interesting going forward. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. AEW, I don't know. And it's like I said earlier on my rant. I mean, it's crazy to think that WWE and Monday Night Raw are this close to signing with Warner Brothers Discovery, and that we are really in a world 30 years later, I guess it is now, that we're talking about Raw might be on the Superstation, that Raw might be on WTBS, that Raw might be on TNT. I'm just like, that's crazy for us who watched the Monday Night Wars, who knows that the Superstation was synonymous with WCW. And if you're in a WWE mindset, it's kind of like that's the enemy. You know, TNT and TBS are the enemy to Raw. But if they go over there, I mean, that's just a crazy circle. And, you know, what happens to AEW then? And, of course,
we own this now.
Now with the rumor, or not the rumor, but the fact, the news that's come out with Kenny Omega being out with, I can't pronounce it, diverticulitis. Yes, that he's out indefinitely. That definitely changes it. But before we go, I do want to announce the one bit of news that I didn't get to cover. It was breaking kind of after I did my report. And we hope everything works out. I disagree with it in this end, but not every state in the United States has legalized weed as a or marijuana, whatever you want to call it, weed, Mary Jane, the devil's lettuce, whatever nickname or you want to call it, cannabis, whatever. You know, not every state has legalized it. We out here on the West Coast, California, Washington, Oregon, I don't think in Nevada yet, maybe Arizona, legalized it recreationally. Many other states do have it legalized for medical purposes. You have to have a medical card for some reason. In most states, it's not too hard to actually get a marijuana card. But bringing that up, Liv Morgan was pulled over last night with unfortunately, and was busted with marijuana and cannabis in the car. And so she has bonded out, and we just hope that this works out. I'm a little worried because we know you got arrested. So that's the issue. It's not necessarily, I think, the cannabis, the weed, the marijuana will be the issue, but she did get arrested. And as a WWE superstar, getting arrested is not a good example in this case to have going on. Just because that's not what you want to have happen. So that's a damn shame here.
Yeah.
So we hope everything works out with her. I hope you see things. I'm going to share a picture here with everybody. Ooh, that changed up things a little bit. We can do this briefly. Oh, good God, I hit buttons. Yeah, all the screens are off because I shared that picture. So let me close this off. We'll go back to that. Everybody's back to where they should be. Let me screwed you guys up by sharing that. Did you guys get to see that at least?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me share with our audience real quickly.
They're looking like Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards.
Yes. No, I mean, they definitely looked impressive in this match or in this moment, and that's why I'm excited about. And I'm putting it up here on the screen for you folks. Just give me a minute here. If you look up here in the corner, you can see Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza looking really badass. I guess Angel Garza still has long hair, but they look like an impressive team together as a heel team. We'll just cover all of us up. There you go. if you can't see it.
We can get them against Joaquin Wild and the other guy. Good, please.
Cruz del Toro.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
please.
So that's what
That's a
I
hell
was
of a
talking
match.
about. That's from NXT. But I thought they looked very, very impressive here in this moment. And I'm like, I can't wait to see them
Yeah.
in the ring. So, I mean, it's going to be very exciting to see them return.
WWE wings at the beginning of this year. Let's.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Clarke, is there anything you want to add to tonight before we get out of here?
I think it's kind of late enough for us. Time to get rolling. You know, we have the holiday season. We're in the holiday season. Christmas is coming up pretty soon. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. But let's continue to be excited about what we have in WWE. We got a good thing going.
We got
Keep
another
rocking
week.
with it.
We got another week of action to cover before we actually get into the holiday season. So we're 9 days out from Christmas. But yes, Mr. Z, anything you want to say before we get out of here for tonight?
Nah, I'm ready to get rolling and get ready for Sunday, folks. We're gonna come back here and have a little more fun.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here and we will be back Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for your weekly roundup where we cover everything in the world of wrestling. We will talk about a bunch of contracts that are coming up for expiration. We are going to come up with names that were seen in Dynamite, AEW Dynamite this week. There'll be no Collision review. We are not going to be watching Collision. If anything specifically happens on Collision, we may give you an update on the Continental Classic tournament, how that breaks down on the weekly roundup. But otherwise, there's not a Collision show this week or anymore unless Collision decides to make itself a show worth watching. So we will not be here tomorrow night, but we will be back Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're new here, make sure you ring that bell for notification. Or if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Become part of the Value Wrestling family. Join the family. Join us by hitting that subscribe button. Ring that bell for notifications so you'll be alerted when any new content, videos, or anything else comes up on the show on the channel. Make sure you give us a like, hit that thumbs up, and share this out with all your friends and family if you're coming to watch us later. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below. And because I feel like it, Mr. Z. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being here. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will be back on Sunday.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.